Well, Rome starting to bite. Day three gave us a huge Aussie win, a couple of Aussie exits, and home crowd drama, with some seeded players moving cleanly and a few others bowing out, and a major men's result with Stefanos Tsitsipas sent packing. So now day four brings us a proper Aussie heavy slate. Talia Gibson gets a test up against a seed. Alex de Minaur gets his Rome campaign underway against a potentially dangerous Italian who's in some form. Alex Vukic will get a top 20 level examination. And Alexei Poprin just reminded everyone that maybe, just maybe, he does have a few clay court tricks in his bag. As always, make sure to hit like on the video if you enjoy your tennis content. Hit subscribe on the channel to keep you up to date with each and every one of our tennis dailies. I apologise in advance for a little bit of sound challenges. We are recording this from an airport lounge due to some travel commitments. So again, apologies if there are any bumps and bruises in the sound. But let's start on Aussie Watch with Maya Joint, the 29th seed, bowing out to Switzerland's Victoria Golubic 7-5, 6-2. Frustrating for Joint. She's been out of action for a little while, but Golubic, awkward, crafty, and very good at taking that rhythm away. For Joint, it feels like one of those matches where the scoreboard slowly gets away from you before you actually realise. Not a disaster, but definitely a missed chance to build some deeper clay court form and get things rolling. Eala Tomljanovic, she also bowed out. She went down to Italian wildcard Naomi Basiletti. That game was paused overnight the night before at 5-3. And look, Basiletti went on with it. But there's a stat that tells this story. Eala won just 47% of her first serve points. And at this level, even against a player ranked down in the 400s, that's going to make life really, really difficult. There wasn't a huge amount of sparkle in the match. It wasn't anything too flashy. This was one that mostly Eala will want to move past quickly and focus forward. The big Aussie moment of the day, though, belongs to Alexei Poprin, knocking out former world number 4 Matteo Berrettini 6-2, 6-3. And yes, that's a surprise result for many people. Berrettini at home, the Rome crowd, his big serve and big forehand weren't quite at their best. This is a former top 5 player, but Poprin handled it well. And this is where clay court questions get interesting. We know Poprin has some weapons, but this result suggests maybe there's some clay substance there too. What can he build from here? We know he's had some glimpses on clay before. Can he get back to that? It's been a tough season so far for the young Aussie. He has controlled power, better tolerance, and enough confidence to hit through a dangerous Italian on home court. That's a big positive. He didn't just beat Berrettini. He walked into the Italian Lions Den and took the megaphone off the crowd and owned the court. So well done to Alexei Poprin. Bigger challenges to come. In terms of other action on day three, Jasmine Paolini gave the home crowd something to cheer about. She had to work hard after a slow start against Leolia Jean-Jean, but found a way through in 3 sets, 6-7, 6-2, 6-4. That's a proper Rome win. Not perfect, not tidy, but certainly an improvement from Paolini. It was gritty, it was noisy, and it was very Italian. There's plenty of seeded women moving through comfortably. Elisa Mertens, Linda Noskova, Belinda Bencic, Mira Andreeva, and Coco Gauff, all straight through in straight sets. It's exactly what the big names want early in a tournament like this. If you're a seeded player, you need to be making easy work of your first up matches. No long grind, no panic, banking the match and moving on. Speaking of comfortable progress, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka made very short work of Barbora Krejcikova 6-2, 6-3. Matchup did have some potential to build into something. I'd always thought that Sabalenka was going to get on top, but she just gave it no time to breathe, gave Krejcikova no opportunities. She used the power through the middle, first strike pressure, and Krejcikova never really got into the match. She never managed to build that clever, varied tennis that she likes to lean into. It was just Sabalenka power and poise getting it done. Iviovic, the 16th seed, got through a tight All-American battle against McCartney Kessler. 2 tiebreaks, 7-6, 7-6. 2 pressure moments, 2 sets to Jovic. They were both tough tiebreaks going to 5 and 4 respectively. It's a handy scoreboard to survive and take momentum through into the next round. There were a couple of seeded exits to join Maya Joint. Marie Buzkova, the 24th seed, was knocked out by Taylor Townsend, 6-3, 7-5. Christina Buxer continued her so-so clay court form, bowing it to Zhong Xinwen, 7-6, 6-2. And Clara Towson withdrew mid-match against Ukraine's Alexandra Oleinikova, down 6-1, 3-1. It looked like Towson was on her way out the door anyway, but she is now withdrawn. The other notable one, obviously, was Yelena Ostapenko was set to play Amanda Anisimova. Amanda Anisimova withdrawing with a wrist injury, so that didn't come about. So we didn't see that mouth-watering clash overnight. On the men's side, Terence Atnay got past Zizu Bergs, while Bergs' countryman Alexander Blocks had to go the long way, taking 3 sets to get past Italian wildcard Federico Cina. It's a nice, resilient win for Blocks. It continues his momentum that he'll take from Madrid. Not always easy to handle the young Italian wildcard when the crowd's getting behind him, but he did well. He hung on, grounded out, and got it done, which gives further chops to him. Dino Prismic made short work of Martin Fucsovic, 6-4, 6-3. A strong result for the young Croatian who's continuing to work his way up the rankings. Fucsovic can make matches physical, and uncomfortable. Prismic handled the test really well. Another one, Ignacio Busey, the Peruvian, claimed a really significant scalp, knocking out home hope Lorenzo Sonego 6-3, 6-3. That's a good, strong Rome result. Busey starting to build his clay court pedigree and resume in terms of in these bigger top tour tournaments, beating an Italian Italy in straight sets on clay. That carries some weight. Biggest result of the day, though, Thomas Mahac beating Stefanos Tsitsipas. Mahac getting it done 6-4, 7-6. Major result. Tsitsipas on clay is supposed to be one of the tests, but it's been more of a roller coaster if you're a Tsitsi fan at the moment. Mahac did what we flagged. He took time away, he flattened the ball, made Stefanos uncomfortable, and sent a big name, unseeded admittedly, packing early in a clash of two huge unseeded players. Mahac didn't let Tsitsipas paint his clay court pictures. He rushed the canvas, flattened the ball, and turned the match into a street fight, and won that comfortably. Let's shift now to day 4 and looking ahead and the matches to watch. We'll start with the Aussies. Talia Gibson up against Diana Shnaider, the 19th seed. This is a big step up for Gibson, but we've seen that she knows how to handle the pressure in previous tournaments. Clay, not her preferred surface, but she's already banked a great Rome result by beating Martina Trevisan. This is going to be a different level of ball coming back. Shnaider will bring lefty power, weight, and confidence. Gibson needs to make this uncomfortable, extend rallies, change shape, outgrind, outwork, make Shnaider play more balls than she wants to, and most importantly, she cannot let the match become one-way traffic early. Gibson's now entered the seeded test. Now can she turn Schneider's power into pressure and make the favourite fill a scoreboard? That is the big question. As much as I love the Aussie narrative, and I know that she's built a run at the Aussie Open earlier this year, Gibson, and she's had some other moderate runs, I just don't see her getting past Schneider's power. I think Diana Shnaider gets this one done in straight sets, but more than happy to be back here tomorrow eating my words. Speaking of Aussies, the headline Aussie match tomorrow or tonight, as you look at it, Alex de Minaur up against Matteo Arnaldi. De Minaur, the 6th seed, starts against a danger man in Arnaldi. He leads a head-to-head 1-0 with de Minaur. That match was at the 2024 Australian Open. This is clay, this is Rome, and this is Arnaldi with momentum and the home crowd behind him. He's fresh off the Challenger tournament in Cagliari, where he beat Gilbert Hurkacz in the final. He then backed it up by beating Jean Minaur in a proper clay court arm wrestle. So there's no soft landing here for the Demon. We saw in Madrid that he can be overwhelmed in an early challenge. De Minaur's edge has got to be speed, pressure, and repeatability. Arnaldi's going to lean into the home crowd, his clay court rhythm, and the confidence of a man who's been winning matches. For the Demon, he's got to take the legs early, make Arnaldi hit while stretch, work him over. Don't let the crowd take cheap momentum and make Arnaldi, the Italian, play from uncomfortable positions all day. De Minaur is the higher seed, but Arnaldi is the live wire and could potentially argue the favourite for this one in terms of form. He's got a title in the legs, the crowd at his back, and exactly the sort of opponent who can turn Rome into a furnace. If Alex de Minaur wants to show that he's a clay court threat at some decent level, then he is definitely going to have to take this early and get onto it. So for me, I've got de Minaur winning it in 3, but again, this is one of those ones where the home crowd and a bit of clay court momentum could absolutely snatch this out of his hands. Next up, the last of the Aussies in action, Alex Vukic takes on Tommy Paul, the 16th seed. Vukic comes in off a brilliant 3-set win over Patrick Gibson, blasting at home with a 6-love third set. But Tommy Paul is a major jump in class. Very different type of American. Paul's quick, athletic, strong off both wings, and he's going to be very hard to rush. Vukic is going to have to make sure he gets behind his first serve. He needs short points. He needs to make Paul defend from the first shot rather than settle into neutral rallies. This gets long and physical. Paul's movement becomes the major separator. Vukic finished that last match like a freight train, but Tommy Paul is the man standing on the tracks with a stop sign and very fast feet. I think Paul gets this one done in straight sets. I know I underestimated Vukic last time around, but Tommy Paul and his hustle on clay is going to be a huge piece. Neither of these guys have clay as their preferred surface, but I think Paul's experience and power and ability will overpower Alex Vukic. Now the other matches to look ahead to, Wang Xinyu takes on Alexandra Eala. This is a cracking Asian tennis storyline. Xinyu, the 31st seed against Eala, two of the best Asian players in the women's game. Coming head-to-head, Wang, the bigger ranking profile, the heavier ball. Eala is going to use her left-handed angles, rising confidence, and that fearless shot-making quality. Eala's first-round match had the full rollercoaster, 6-love, 3-6, 6-4 over Magdalena Freck. So the upside is obvious. The wobble is there too. Wang needs to expose that. Eala needs to try and grab the middle of the court early and make this about her weapons. Wang brings the higher form line in terms of the seeding. Eala brings the spark. She is a wild card. She can be a bit mercurial and a bit of a roller coaster. This feels like one of those matches where Asian tennis is going to get a proper spotlight to show what is emerging there. We've got a lot of really good players coming out of Asia, and this is just some of the headlines. We're looking forward to this one, seeing how they handle the clay. If Eala can control that momentum and roller coaster vibe. She can get on top, and I think Eala will get it done in 3. Next up, we've got Jessica Pegula versus Sonmez. This is a cracking match. The 5th seed takes on rising Turkish player in Sonmez. For Pegula, this is the sort of match that she'll go in expecting to win, but it's definitely not a free pass. Pegula fancies herself undoubtedly as someone who can fly under the radar and have a crack at Roland Garros in a couple of weeks' time. She's consistent, she handles pressure well, and when she's locked in, she can make life very boring for opponents in the best possible way. Sonmez, though, she's tricky. She's been showing some genuine clay court form in the lead-up. She knocked out Jasmine Paolini in Stuttgart, which is a proper scalp. She also got to the last 32 in Madrid, so it's just not a one-off win storyline. There's clay form here, and she's already got another win under the belt in Rome. This gives her the rising play danger. She's got nothing to lose. She's got plenty of belief, and she'd be happy to extend rallies. Pegula's job is to be professional and clinical. Start clean, don't give Sonmez a sniff, and make the match feel like a ranking gap, not a momentum swing. Sonmez, she needs to stay close, make Pegula defend and drag this match into awkward physical clay court patterns. Pegula comes in looking like a genuine Roland Garros threat, but Sonmez is no warm-up act. She knocked off Paolini in Stuttgart, so this is going to be interesting. I've got Pegula taking this in 3, probably having to fight back from a set down if Zeynep Sonmez can get out of the gates early. Next up, we've got a big-name matchup. Elena Rybakina in the 2nd seed against Maria Sakkari. Rybakina's got the better of this matchup historically, and she comes in with serious form. A big serve, clean strike, calm under pressure. Sakkari showed some fight against Lily Tager, coming back from a set down and finishing with a bagel, absolutely blitzing the final set. But the issue with Sakkari, consistency. The physical tools are there, the fight is there. We've seen that she's been in the top 10 before, but the question is whether she can hold a high enough level for long enough against someone who can take the racket out of her hand. Rybakina is going to want first strike control and get control of this. Sakkari's got the engine, but Rybakina has a missile system, and if Elena is leaning first serves, Maria may spend a lot of this time chasing shadows. I think Rybakina will get it done in 2 tight sets. Last up for the women's, Karolina Muchova versus Anastasia Potapva. This is a really sneaky matchup. Muchova, the 11th seed, against Potapva. Muchova, the higher ceiling. She's got variety, courtcraft, and net play, and has the ability to change a match completely with a couple of patterns. But Potapava's red hot. She made history in Madrid as the first lucky loser to reach a WTA 1000 semi-final. That included wins over Ostapenko, Rybakina, and Pliskova. This is ceiling versus form. Muchova is the better player if she gets the full range working, but Potapva is the one with matches, rhythm, and momentum. Muchova's got the bigger bag of tricks, but Potapva is playing like someone who has found house money and decided to buy the whole casino. I think Potapva actually gets this done in 3. We move to the men's side, and a fantastic and intriguing contest to start. Lorenzo Musetti, the Italian, up against Giovanni Mpteshi Perricard, the 8th seed, up against the booming serve of the Frenchman. If Mpteshi Perricard is landing bombs, sets can disappear into tie-break territory very quickly. His serves are always the equaliser. It's about taking it away from him on his return. Musetti's job is to make the match about clay, variation, height, angles, make sure his return is good. Don't let it become serve, serve, serve. In Rome, with the crowd behind him and the surface helping him, Musetti should have the tools, but you cannot sleepwalk through your service games, and you need to be on against Mpteshi Perricard's serve. Mpteshi Perricard's going to bring the cannon. Musetti will bring the clay court paintbrush. The question is whether Lorenzo can make art before Giovanni starts sending down bombs. I think the home crowd's going to help him here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mpteshi Perricard come out and make the first set of tie-break coming out quickly. He can start well, but Musetti should have the class to get this done. I've got Lorenzo Musetti in 3. Next up, we go Rafael Jodar versus Nuno Borges. Jodar, the 32nd seed, the first time seeded for Jodar. It's a tough draw first up. Borges is not a comfortable opponent. He's experienced, he's solid, and he's hard to move off his patterns. He already looked sharp in Rome, winning his opener comfortably. For Jodar, this is about handling the new pressure. He's now the expected. He's now the hunted, not the hunter. Seed next to the name, expectation on a scoreboard. Opponent with some rhythm. It's a proper maturity test. Jodar gets a number next to his name for the first time, and Borges is exactly the sort of guy who will check whether that seed comes with roots and whether he deserves it. I think Jodar gets this done. His game is quite broad, but this is going to be an enthralling clash. I've got Jodar getting it done in 3 sets. Last up, we've got Francisco Cerudolo up against Alejandro Tabilo, an all South American clay court battle. Cerudolo is the 25th seed against Tabilo. Tabilo looked really sharp in round 1. He crushed Spaniard Pablo Carreno Busta 6-2, 6-1. Cerudolo brings the heavier clay resume. He's got the big forehand. He's going to use that heavy spin, and he loves playing on the red dirt. Tabilo, though, very comfortable on clay, brings those lefty patterns, confidence and momentum. This could be one of the purest clay matches of the day. Not necessarily the biggest name, but in terms of surface craft, physical exchanges, and just how they utilize the red dirt, this is absolutely one to watch. This is going to be South American clay court business. Cerudolo with his heavyweight forehand. Tabilo bringing the lefty knife and craft. Neither one of them is here for short rallies. This is going to be an absolute cracker. Cerudolo's been in some good form. Tabio's dangerous. I'm going to go Tabilo with the upset in straight sets. So that's day 4 in Rome. Popyrin gives Australia the statement win of the tournament so far. Joint and Tomljanovic bow out. We've got plenty of Aussies in action tonight. Rome is rolling. Make sure if you love your tennis to stay tuned in. Hit like on the video. Hit subscribe on the channel. Find that bell icon down below and hit that one so you get notifications each and every time we drop an episode. And of course, you can follow us on social media as well at The Chris Mack Show on all your favourite social media platforms. But as I said, Rome's rolling. The seeds are arriving. The clay is starting to sort out who's building towards Roland Garros and who's just trying to survive the week and making up the numbers. Until next time here on The Chris McPherson Show, Tennis Daily. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again here on your home of black and white sports, no grey opinions.